Chanel came out with another limited edition collection. It's the Cannage collection. They just released the Riviera collection. I believe that's the name of it. That one had 2 eyeshadow quints with the beautiful embossing, and it also had that gold overspray. Now it did look pretty, but it was just a little bit light to my liking. And plus with that gold overspray, once you swatch it or put your brush in, it's gonna disappear. So you'll kind of lose that gold undertone with those shades. It's pretty, but I didn't pick that one up. But I did pick up 2 new palettes in the Cannage collection. There were 4 palettes in that, or 4 quints. There's also a new mascara and new shades in the liquid liner. I also picked up the new bronzer, the new oversized bronzer during the Sephora sale. So I'll showcase this product in here too. But let me show you the eye quints that are in this collection. The 2 that I did not pick up. Number 671 Coral Couture. I looked at that one and that's probably just gonna not show up on my skin. 2 of the shades on the bottom look similar, and that coral shade, I do have a hard time working with some coral shades. It just kind of overtakes the look. The shimmer shade does look pretty in that, but yeah, I passed on that one. And the other one that I passed on was 857 Rose Organza. Now Rose Organza is very pretty, but again, I just passed on that. The 2 that I did pick up, they seem to be the very popular ones. I'm sure that there are tons of videos out there using these 2 palettes, but the one I did pick up was 557 Brown Cachemire. That one just looked very pretty because I do love brown shades. And the other one was 647 Silk Taupe. So when I saw this collection, those 2 were the ones that popped out at me. So let me show you the packaging here. On the outside, it has that pretty imprint. And it says on their website that the case is adorned with the Cannage motif and a subtle nod to the legendary Lady Dior bag. It reveals 4 nude ranges with spectacular finishes, ideal for sculpting the eye contour and intensifying your look. Each shade contains 3 finishes, a matte, a satin, and pearly. They're long wearing, comfortable, and it has pigments and cornflower extract. This one is kind of plasticky, but I do like the case. I like it better than the plain plastic one of the other quints that I have. And here's the back of it. And when you do open it up, it does have this thing that it's my pet peeve. I just don't like how you open up these palettes. You have to use your fingernail, and sometimes it could dig right in there if it's not loose enough or if it's too tight. Yeah, I hope you can see that there. It's just not my favorite kind of clasp opening. But anywho, when you do open it up, it does come with a mirror and 2 little brushes. And the embossing is very pretty. This one's 557 Brown Cachemire, and this is the Brown Nude palette. And let's go ahead and start swatching this one first. This one's kind of like a creamy satin finish. And let's put you here. So yeah, that's a pretty finish there. Kind of like a beige gold. Now I'm going to go over on this side. It's another creamy formula. And that one's another kind of like a light satin finish. This one's kind of like a shadow topper. It doesn't have that much meat to it. And there are kind of like little glitter particles in there. Now let's go to my favorite shade that's in this palette. And this is kind of like an antique satin. Now you could use this one as a transition shade, but on my lids, it does kind of show the texture because it does have that satin finish to it, but it's very pretty all over the lid. Now let's go to this matte brown shade. Well, let me swatch that one again. Yeah, let me bring it down here. There you go. And I would say this one's a little bit more on the cool tone on my skin. And we'll compare it with the other palette because they do look very similar, but in the Brown Cachemire, it's a little bit more on the cooler side. And then let's go in the center shade. And that one, yeah, that has some meat to it. That's your white metallic shade. Now, out of all the shades, this one in the center does have some more meat to it. Whereas kind of these 2, it's kind of subtle, but this one here, it's my favorite color, my favorite shade. Now let me show you 647 Silk Taupe, and this is kind of like the taupey pinky nude. And let's start in the same direction. It's kind of like a gray shade. It's very creamy, a matte shade I should say too. Let me put you here. Yeah, this one's very creamy. And another one that leans kind of cool on me. Let me just kind of swatch you a little bit better so you can see it all the way down. There you go. So yeah, this one is a little bit more on the cooler side. Now let's go to this shade, and yeah, that one's very pretty. Now comparing it to the same shade over here, this one has, like I said, more meat to it. It has more of a base, where this one's more of a shadow topper. Now let's go to this pretty pink shade, and that's what I have on my lids right now. Yeah, and that one's very pretty. Very smoothing on the eyes too. This kind of like a satin shade. And let's try this brown matte. These 2 shades is what I have on my eyes now. And yeah, I probably should have put it here, but let me just continue it on here. Now this one does look a little bit warmer than this one. Again, let me swatch it a little bit better. And when you see it on the eyes, it does look similar, but depending on the other shades, it can lean more cool or more warm. So if I use these two shades together, it'll look more warm. Comparing it to if I use these two shades together, it'll look a little bit more cool. Now let's go into the center shade. And I thought I would like this one, but when I did the look, yeah, you barely can see it there. It's more or less like a shadow topper. I was kind of hoping that this will have more color to it. But let me swatch you again. But yeah, this one took a long time to kind of build it up. Now let me show you the mascara. It comes with the same kind of Cannage packaging. This one's called the Dior Show Over Volume, and it comes in one shade, 090 Over Black. Now this one does cost $33. And here's what the spoolie looks like. Kind of like an hourglass. And I did use this mascara in all 4 looks. This mascara delivers an extreme volume boost while defining each lash for a fanned out look. I also picked up the Dior Show liquid liner in the shade, let's see here, 781 Satin Brown. This one costs $35, and there are 2, 4, 6, 8 shades in here. I don't know if this is a new product from Dior, but I do believe there are new shades. And I've always wanted to try a brown liner because I love my black liner. So when I saw that there was a brown one, I had to pick this one up. And this one does cost $35. This is a waterproof liquid liner that accentuates your eyes with intense colors that are in satin and pearly finishes. On their website, they do have swatches, and it shows 9 shades, not 8 shades. So there's 9 shades in here. And again, I picked up a satin brown. So let me show you the tip. I would say that it's not stiff and it doesn't kind of spray out. And let me swatch this one for you. Now, upon first glance, it does look a little bit more black, but there is kind of like a brown undertone. And I also want to show you this bronzer. I did pick it up during the Sephora sale, or actually I picked up a different shade, which was 20, and I wanted either 30 or 40, and those were sold out. So I picked up 20, didn't open it, didn't use it, and then I went back to exchange it, and they only had 40 in stock. So I went ahead and picked up shade 40, and that's the deepest shade. There are 4 shades in here total. And this is the Dior Forever Nude Jumbo Bronzer. And again, this is in the shade 40 Deep Skin. Now I love the compact. It does come with that cushion, kind of faux leather stitch packaging here. Different than the Quints, this is plastic. I do like the feel of that. It's kind of squishy. And then here's what the back looks like. And then you open it up, and here is again 40, which is deep skin. And I would say that the embossing kind of looks the same as the Cannage packaging. But yeah, I kind of like that, and it does have a scent to it. It smells more like jasmine, but I kind of like it because it reminds me while I'm walking outside and I get that whiff of a jasmine bush. So I don't mind the smell of this one. All right, let's swatch you, and let's put you here. Yeah, it's very creamy. This is the first time that I've tried it, and you know, it's not too red. It's a little bit more on the warm side. And again, this is the first time that I tried, and we'll get into that when I show you the eye looks. And let's go ahead and get into the eye looks. Now, I did do 2 looks each with each palette. I'll show you the 2 looks that I did first with Brown Cachemire, and then the last 2 looks are with Silk Taupe. And I did kind of explain myself in the last look, the 4th look. And with each look, I did use the mascara and the liner, and I believe I only did it for the first look and this look, because that would be just kind of redundant if I show you the same thing over and over. You know, nothing special with putting a liner or a mascara on. And in the last look, I did try the new Jumbo Bronzer. So let's go and get into the looks, and I'll see you on the other side. the second look using Silk Taupe and the last look using both of these palettes, let's go into this dark brown shade. And I already primed my eyes with the e.l.f. primer, and let's put you a little bit in the outer corner and blend you up into the crease. Made that blend very nice, but let's go in one more time. Now using my finger, I'm going to use this pink shade. Has a little bit of a sheen to it, and let's place you or put you on the lids. You have to say that this is a soft, very romantic pink shade. Yeah. Let me go in with a small flat shader brush and just kind of place that up in my crease, because my finger just can't quite get up there. Let me go back into the first shade and just kind of blend that out. And I think that's all I'm going to do, just these two shades. I thought I was going to put this shade in the inner corner, but since I already did that in the last look, let me just kind of keep this a simple romantic look maybe. So then let's go for underneath the eyes. I'm just going to use that brown shade. Place you underneath and just concentrate it more in the outer corner. Just kind of fan it in. Now let me go into the brown eyeliner. You know, with this pink eye look, I can see more of the brown liner shade than with the other looks. Because with the other looks, it looked a little bit deeper, almost black. But now I can see it more as a brown liner. I don't know, since I'm using it more, the color's coming out. But yeah, with this pink look, I do see more of a brown liner. And the tip is not stiff, it doesn't flay everywhere. And you can just kind of stamp it on and the color gets on there. So I like that. And it's not bleeding up into my little creases there. But yeah, so far so good. Let me do my brows real quick and I'll come back and do the mascara. Now let's go into the mascara. Here's one coat. Let me go into the bottom lashes with what's left on the wand. Now I don't think I like it for the bottom lashes because it's kind of clumpy, and I do see it kind of bleed into my under eyes there. But anywho, let's go into a second coat, and here is that. Now if I go in one more, I think it's going to look a little clumpy. Okay, so here are two coats on both sides. I want to try this bronzer. This will be the first time I'm going to try it. It's the oversized bronzer, the Dior Forever nude bronzer. I did pick it up during the Sephora sale, but in shade 20 because they were out of the other shades that I wanted to try. So I didn't open it up. So when I went back to Sephora, they only had this shade in stock, 40. I wanted 30, but they didn't have it, so I got 40, which is a deep matte. And since we did come back from Galveston over the weekend, I am a little darker, especially when you compare it with the other three looks that I just did. This one may work. Oh, it does have a scent. Kind of smells like jasmine. That's pretty. Oh, that does smell good. I mean, it may put people off, but the jasmine scent's not bad. Okay, so here's one side of me bronzing my face. Oh yeah, I'm glad I picked up 40, especially now in the summertime. I do like the packaging that's cushioned. It does look very good on the skin. It's not powdery. It does kind of blend in. Still trying the new foundation from Givenchy. Not too sure about it yet, but the bronzer looks pretty. And here is the finished look, and what do you think, guys? You know, I do like this look. It's very soft, very romantic, very nice for an everyday look and for date night. But anywho, now let me let you know what I think about these palettes. The first look that I did with Brown Cachemire, that one was very similar to the one that I did with the Victoria Beckham Bordeaux palette. Let me just kind of bring it here. This is the Victoria Beckham palette, and the look that I did was using these two shades. And I think it's very similar with the first look that I did with this palette. And let's do a little comparison here. Here's a Victoria palette, and let's swatch you here. See, it's very similar, but the Victoria Beckham one, it just swatched beautifully. It's very pigmented, but it's very similar. And in this gold shade, let's put you here, and yeah, it's kind of similar to this shade, but it has more meat to it. Let me kind of swatch that a little bit better. Let me swatch you down here. So yeah, I would say it looks very similar. Maybe the Victoria Beckham is a little bit more pigmented, has more meat to it, but it's very similar. So yeah, after I did that first look with Brown Cachemire, that's what my mind went to, was the look that I did with Victoria Beckham's Bordeaux. And honestly, I like this one better than Brown Cachemire. I'm sure that we have many shades that are similar to this palette, Brown Cachemire, just like what I showed you with Victoria Beckham. But this is still a nice palette because you do have these 5 kind of brown nude shades together. Whereas the Victoria Beckham one, you do have that Bordeaux shade. And then for Silk Taupe, I kind of like this look. Like I said, it's very soft, very romantic. And I kind of like the brown in Silk Taupe than the brown in Brown Cachemire. Because like I said, that one's a little bit more cooler than the one in Silk Taupe. Now this shade in the middle, it's not my favorite. I just kind of wish they made it a little bit more pigmented because the base of it's very pretty. Kind of like that bronze shade. But as you can see here, you just really can't see it and you really have to build it up. Now, are these palettes worth $71? Probably not. Because like I said, you probably have shades many times over similar to these, but you do have the shades kind of grouped together instead of, you know, one big palette. Like I would say Silk Taupe reminds me of Natasha Denona's Glam palette, where you have 15 shades and here you have 5. Maybe the shades you probably use the most, except for this middle one's not worth it. But I do like this look with the pink. But if you like Dior Quints and you like the packaging, it's very nice. It's kind of, you know, cheap with the plastic here, but it is what it is. It's what we're getting. These aren't bad, but I'd definitely wait for a sale. These are a limited edition, so they probably won't last long. But if you don't get these, don't worry, something new will come along. I would also wait for a sale for the mascara because it's really nice. It does give me the volume and the length, but if you go more than 2 coats, it will kind of clump up. And the bottom lashes, it does, I don't know, it's not very good for my bottom lashes. Even when I do the top lash first and then I'll come in with the bottom with what's left on the wand, it still kind of clumps up and it's kind of also, I don't know if you can see it, there's like a dark spot right here. It's kind of bleeding into my under eyes there. It is a nice mascara. I do love the packaging. It's very luxurious. I don't know why, but it just feels nice. But you just need to go with 2 coats. Any more than that, it will be just a little bit too much. Now the liner, I do like the liner and I do like the color. It does kind of soften the look and it does glide on. You can stamp it on and it doesn't bleed up into, you know, those little crevices, those little wrinkles I have. And it doesn't bleed or anything. So yeah, this one's not bad. I don't know if I'll be getting in any of the other colors because those are just a little too much for me. I'll stick with blacks and browns, but so far, not bad with a liner. Now the bronzer, can't really tell you much because this is the first time I've tried it, but the color's not bad. Again, you know, I am a little bit darker, so I'm kind of glad that I did get 40 instead of 30. It does look very nice on the skin. It's not looking powdery or anything like that. Now the scent, it does have that jasmine scent and you do get it right when you open it up. So that could be a problem, but yeah, I just got a whiff of it though. But it is jasmine. If you like jasmines, then it's not too bad. And the color is not bad either. And I believe that is it. Well, all right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video of me trying the new Dior Cannage collection, 2 of the palettes there, with the mascara, liner, and the new jumbo bronzer. So if you liked and enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos like this, and you'll have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.